It was October of last year, my birthday. I got a knock on my door from Homeland Security, and there was these two officers outside my door and said, "We're looking for your son." My son is 25 years old, lives in Portland, Oregon. So I was real scared and real concerned. And I invited these two officers in because I didn't know what the heck they were looking for my son for. And when they told me why they were looking for my son, because he threw a rock at a demonstration in Portland and hit an officer, I called Pastor Oliver and I called John Kleinberg, my board chairman. And they both called lawyers for me. I lawyered up, flew to Portland that day, found my son, got him in front of the lawyer. They came, and Homeland Security picked him up and put him in jail. And that was on a Sunday. That Monday when he got out of jail, I said, "Okay, Christian, let's go home." He said, "Mom, I am home." I said, "Whoa." I said, "Okay, I'm going home." Back to Atlanta, got on the plane. And when I landed, the Lord said, "Sell your home, reach out to Ron and Vicky, who are going, you need to move into one of their homes, which is called the A-Frame, and he's gonna help you become a millionaire." I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be obedient to God. I called Ron up and him and Vicky and said, "I need to come talk to you." And I went and told them, "The Lord told me to sell my house. You're gonna help me become a millionaire and move into your A-Frame." And so they were like, "Okay, God said all of this, right?" So I'm like, yeah, put my house on the market. Within a week or two, of course, because of the market, the house is selling. But I know the Lord said I needed to sell it to somebody I knew. It wasn't just like, So I said, who? Well, Dedisha, a former member of EBC, her and her kids who I had been praying for, her and her grandkids, because she inherited them, I had been praying for, winded up buying the house. Had the house set at $500,000, $500,000. She came to me with tears in her eyes and said, "God told me to tell you to sell me this house for $100,000 less." So I said, well, if he told you that, he needs to tell me. But anyway, Ron and Vicky, the same couple, calls me up and says, "Come on over, we want to talk to you." I walk in their house. He hands me a check. I'm thinking it's for the capital campaign for the building at Mary Hall. And I looked at it and it said, Lucy Hall was the name the check was made out, $100,000. And I just busted out in tears. I'm like, "Ron, is this for me?" He says, "Yeah, me and Vicky want to bless you and make sure you're in the right position when you get ready to retire because of all that you do for others." So I said, "Okay, no problem, thank you." I cried. We had a spiritual moment. So of course I sold her the house for $100,000 less. On October 2nd, my birthday is the 4th, I get a call from the same wife. Now let me tell you, the husband, when he gave me the $100,000, said, "My wife is gonna get mad at me for saying this to you, but if you gave less money for your church, you'd have more money to save." I knew the reason why you giving me the money is because I tithe. So she calls me on October 2nd, the same woman, and said, "Hey, Ronnie needs your capital campaign account." So I said, "Oh, okay," didn't think no more of it. So I'm in my office. The next thing I know, this woman shows up in my door and says, "Can I interrupt your meeting?" I'm saying, "Sure, you can interrupt my meeting." She says, "Miss Lucy, we got $100 million deposit in our account." I lost it. I had to leave my office because everybody thought something was wrong because I was screaming and crying so much. Ain't nobody ever gave me $1 million. Nobody. I left my office, got in my car, and the first person I called is, guess who? My beloved pastor, Dr. Craig L. Oliver. I said, "Dr. Oliver," he said, He said, "Lucy, it's the seeds that you have sown, they return back. He gives seed to the sower." And I just want y'all to know this in this hour of generosity, so generously, not sparingly, because God is going to return. It's nobody but God. It's for the glory of God. That's what happened.